Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mom Boss Motivation Podcast. And hello, Mom Boss Motivation community on Facebook. I'd like to welcome you. It's Friday. We have a special interview, always a special interview because I love interviewing moms and meeting new moms. And today we have Kelsey Kerslake, and she is an entrepreneur and she has her own business. And I don't know a lot about her. Her people reached out to me and I was like, yeah, let's get an interview. And I finally got my stuff together. So I am happy to have Kelsey here. So, Kelsey, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Cheryl. I'm excited to be here. So my name is Kelsey Kerslake. Hello. I'm excited we're like live here.
Yes.
So I have two businesses. I started with my design agency, which is called Pine Gate Road. I grew that on the side of being in corporate America and then took it full time in 2016. And then in the past 3 years, I started a coaching business for other service providers, coaches, consultants, and it's called the Aligned Business. And we have two different programs for online business owners to scale to 6 and 7 figures. So those are my two businesses. I have amazing team supporting me with both of them, and that's where I'm at.
Cool. So let's hear about mom life.
Yeah. So mom life was like always in the picture for me. Right now, I have a 1 year old. He'll be 2 in 2 weeks, which is exciting.
Yes.
We're going to have just the tiniest little party with my in laws coming in. I ordered one of those, like a cake I found on Instagram. I forget what the Milk Bar. Have you ever heard of those?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Those are good.
um, yeah, it was one of the only places that could have like the gluten-free one. So
Yeah.
I was like, I keep seeing these ads on my Instagram and I'm getting
They're
one.
following you. They're following you.
Yes. So yeah, I have a little guy. We are going through embryo transfer this month to have a second one hopefully soon. And yeah, it's always been a goal of mine. Like when I started my business, I wanted to have that freedom to be able to be a mom, but also be a business owner. And that was really, really important and integral to my entire journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So you were talking about maternity leave as an entrepreneur. Like,
Hmm.
what is that saying to you? What does that mean to you? And how can you explain that to the community?
Yeah. So I think for me, what I wanted with maternity leave was really to have the freedom financially and time wise. Those are two really important things to do whatever I felt I wanted to do when baby came along. So I kind of was thinking like from the past, like, what do I need to set up before I do have a kid to make sure that my business is running and thriving and financially supporting me before I ever had a baby. And due to infertility stuff, I did have like 3 years to figure that
Oh,
out and grow
wow.
my business while we were like making that all happen. So it was, yeah, that was a time in
So
my
you
life. But
were, so you're working a corporate job. I'm trying to paint the picture. Where was the
yeah,
corporate job at?
so I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. So it was here in Cleveland. We live on the other side of town now, like almost an hour away from where I was, but I was working at American Greetings, and I
Oh,
was a stationery designer
oh my
there.
goodness.
Yeah. So that was my corporate life.
Uh-huh.
And I was running my design studio, Pine Gate Road, on the side at the same time. I started it while I was in grad school and then just
Okay.
kept it going as kind of it was a legit studio. I had other people working for me on the side, but I still was like, oh, this isn't going to be like a quote unquote real business. It
Right.
was just this thing that was bringing in extra money. And then I think when I, got engaged and I was like, okay, kids are happening, they're in the near-ish future. It was like, I have to take my business really seriously and like get this supporting me because, and I don't know how you felt about this and whatever. But I knew that having the maternity leave that a corporation would give me was not the experience that I wanted. And I knew that I had to kind of take that into my own hands and really create the maternity leave experience that I wanted, which was that I didn't know what I wanted. And I just wanted to be able to feel like secure, take as much time as I wanted off, like have all of the options available to me. And that meant growing my business to support that.
So did you always have this like can do, go to attitude, or was there like a moment where it was like, I really need to do this? Was this like through your IVF journey? Like what?
Yeah.
What
So, okay. So medical history, I'm like kind of all open here. I actually got diagnosed with endometriosis before. Did you have that?
No, what is that?
What's endometriosis? So it is, I'd always had like painful periods growing up. And I actually went on birth control when I was like really like 15 because of the painful periods. It was like, that was the reason. And I'd been on it for
birth control because of acne.
Yeah, there's so many reasons. And that I'd just been on it for years and years and years. And then it was, one summer, I kept getting all of these pains around my period. Like I literally couldn't walk out of bed. And one night I thought I was dying and I was like laying on my bathroom floor. Like I had to call an ambulance to come get me because I didn't know what was going on. And I ended up in the hospital. So it's like this severe pain that happens in usually your uterus, but it can be other places too. And it's basically these lesions that act like uterine tissue. So whenever you do have your period, they also bleed. And sometimes it's like bleeding outside of your uterus. So it's bleeding, like it's causing internal bleeding. Sometimes it's like doing all of these things. That's probably a generalization of what it's doing. So anyway, I had to go, it was months of figuring out what this was like. But I knew I would have fertility issues because of this experience. And I did get surgery right around the time I got engaged. And so I was like, okay, like my uterus is clear of this endometriosis. Like we have to do babies sooner than I thought I would. And I was like, I know this will be a journey. So that all mixed together, I was like, I'm going to quit my corporate job. I'm going to take my business full time. I'm going to get married and we're just doing this. And I knew that having my business steady was the key to any of those future things. So I guess I did always have that like can do attitude, but it was more this forcing because of my health stuff that was going on.
Wow. I would feel like I was dying too. So that is amazing that you got through all of that. So you quit your corporate, you went full time with Pine Gate, and now you created the Aligned Business Academy, or what is it called?
It's just called the Aligned Business.
Okay, the Aligned Business.
Our signature program is the Aligned Business Academy.
Oh, okay. I was close. So let's talk about how you got started with your coaching business and let us know all about that.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to go back a little bit to the maternity leave. Like that whole year when I was, as I was planning to get pregnant and going through IVF, I was building up my agency to be able to support the business while I was gone. And before it was just me, like I was doing literally everything in my business. And so I'd grown with team and I was able to get everything set up to take that maternity leave. So that meant having really solid processes, systems, like training the team in advance and all of these things before I took my maternity leave. So basically like people were seeing, oh my gosh, like you're this designer and you're taking real time off and you're building a team and I'm going crazy and I am, working all hours of the day and never sleeping. And I was actually living this like pretty aligned life, which is why the Aligned Business is called what it is. I've always wanted to have that balance. And I know there's never like such thing as a real balance, but I wanted a balance. And I knew that growing my business was the key to that. So when people were seeing that, I was actually being asked to mentor and coach people in growing their own design businesses. So
Okay.
I started a program, and at first it was just designers. It started with 3 students. I just like put it out on Instagram. I was like, I have one student who's doing this. Who else wants to join us?
Yes.
Yeah. So that started in 2017, and it has grown. We started, accepting other people outside of just designers, because I was like, this works for all kinds of service providers, coaches, consultants. Like if you have a process that you're working through, or you have a program and an offering, we can help you in these same strategies that we're using. And obviously, as I was coaching more, I learned what people were really needing and started forming these like formulas out of what I'd experienced, what people were finding useful and helpful as they were scaling their businesses. And what was really cool is that, like, after working with people, like, they were hitting their 6-figure years like that year. And I was like, well, this is a theme. Like, we're setting this all up to have like your 6-figure success.
Right.
So then I turned it into what is now officially the Align Business Academy. And that has been running for over a year now. We have 80 students in the program. And it's just like, yeah, such cool stuff happening there. And I'm like, I literally get to make dreams come true every day, which is magical.
And it's like you went from American greetings, stationery, like kind of making people's dreams come true through art.
Yeah.
And then design, and now you're making people's dreams come true through their business. So
Yep.
that's so cool. So what could someone expect through the Align Business Academy?
Yeah. So it's really, if you do have a talent or a passion or an expertise that you want to turn into a business, we help you create a really solid 6-figure business that can support you year after year after year. Again, most people are looking for that time freedom. So we help to fit it in the schedule that you have. And obviously, you are all moms in this community. So we're usually looking for something that can fit around and be flexible around our kids' schedules. So what we really do is we take the life that you want to be living, and then we fit the business around that. And then we help you create whatever financial success that you want. In the academy, we're helping people create usually 6 figures, but some people come in and they're like, I just need to make 5K a month. Like, that would be amazing. So it's like whatever helps you get to that life that you want. And then we build a really solid business around that. And we also support people working through the mindset, because stepping up and being a business owner is like, yeah, like the thoughts you think turn out to be your real life. So we have to like work on some of those belief patterns too. So it's a really supportive community just to like help people get to whatever goal they have in their life.
Yeah, so cool. So if I'm doing the math right, your son's almost 2. The academy has been running for almost a year. So you built this during the newborn phase?
During the newborn phase and during a global pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Just that.
Yeah, just that. But I'm just saying, like, newborn phase is a global pandemic. So
yes.
You're already like quarantined anyways. But
yeah.
So that's so cool. So how did you feel? Like, I just remember, like, I just came out, I'm like in the same type of time frame now. Because I was in a place like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Well, that's when the pandemic hit. But having a newborn and just doing all the things, not sleeping, how did you intertwine all of that into Align?
I will say, when I did have the baby, I had a lot of, I guess my other business was running and supporting me financially. So I had team taking care of that. And technically, the way I set it up, I didn't have to do any work. I was checking work. So I had a project manager, and she managed our projects. And so she was sending me an email of all of the work every single week. And all I had on my plate, like when I had my baby, was I had to review that work and send feedback back to the team. But everything else was set. So when I started the Align business, I basically was doing it during my son's naps. He was 1, so it was pretty, and I only have 1 baby. So it wasn't like I had all of these different schedules. And I set my coaching times during his nap times on Mondays. They still are he's napping right now.
Nice.
I work normally Monday through Thursday, but I was like, I can do this on Friday during my son's nap. I'm like
Thank
a pro
you.
at nap time work. And so, yeah, I basically scheduled everything around his naps, and that's when I fit things in. And then I also knew, because of my agency, that I needed to get support earlier than I thought, because I only have so many hours in the day and you have like way less hours as a mom.
Yeah.
So I knew that to provide the level of support I wanted to our students, that I needed support there. So right away, when we started the Align Business Academy, I brought on other coaches to be supporting our students one-on-one, and then really training them to execute and, coach how I would.
Oh, cool. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So you always talk about team. Who's your team? What is your team? What's going on?
Yeah. So on the agency side, I have my amazing project manager. She just does all the things. So she's the person that, as soon as a project is booked, like, she handles all of the details for our clients. And then we have a team of contractors that are designers, developers, photographers, copywriters, all of those people that we pull in for different projects. And our project manager actually manages that.
Okay.
We have a junior designer that does a lot of the packaging of files and some of those things. So we do have a regular junior designer as well. And then on the coaching side, we just went through a transition. So I did have 6 accountability coaches, and we actually just reframed how the company is running. And I brought on full-time employees to support the future vision, which I'm like, it's so scary, but necessary for where we're heading. And we now have what are called success and strategy coaches. So they're actually creating action plans that are unique for every single person. And we have 2 of those coaches. I have a social sales and marketing assistant who's there to just nurture people and answer questions and things like that, because I can't always be the person answering questions. And then we have a director of operations who is managing our entire team. She creates all of our launch plans. She's managing in Asana, so our to-dos and tasks and things like that.
Okay.
And then I have a podcast and marketing executive assistant. She manages my podcast, she manages my calendar and my schedule and all of those things, because I'm just I can't do it. Yeah, so that is
Your
we
team.
also have lawyer, bookkeeper, accountant, hiring manager. Those are more contractors that we bring in per project, but those are our core all the time.
Wow, you created that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And so you talk about future. Let's talk about where you want to go in the future. You said it's scary, but let's talk about it.
Yeah. So this year, it was actually last year and this year, we've really been working towards hitting our first $1 million revenue. Yeah. But here is the thing. So I built this whole coaching team to hit the $1 million. And then I was like, this is happening. We're on track. What's the next thing? So I was like, well, let's plan for $5 million. And I realized at that, I don't have a bunch of contractors. I have real employees that are supporting the business and working in it every single day. So that was the vision I recently just transitioned through. And I had to lots of meetings with my director of ops and our lawyer and our HR specialist. That's another person I brought on, just forming the foundation of how do we bring on employees and set up benefits, and I'm making employee handbooks and all of these things I never thought would be my life. I know that's kind of your life, right? That's
No,
all
yet.
of your, not anymore, wasn't it? In
was,
HR and stuff?
I did government.
Okay.
No HR.
Okay. I was reading all your stuff and I was like, I think you know these details.
Details of handbooks and all that. I did government stuff, so everything.
Yeah, different game.
Yeah.
So that has been my last couple months where I've been really stepping into that level. And I'm like, I'm a legit CEO now, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yes. And you're
And that
about to
was,
have another baby. Oh my,
yeah.
yes.
But the key is really building the businesses to support and have the team. It's like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
this on my own. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
how do you do it all? And I'm like, I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
this is, it's a lot of, I made a lot of scary decisions and a lot of like internal up leveling in order to step into those levels. Like, it was really scary, like bringing on employees and saying, like, I'm now in charge of producing the revenue to support your families. Like,
Yes.
that freaks me out, but I had to like step up into that level and just be like, okay, like I can do this and like build up the savings and all of the things. And it's always just like a huge mental shift every step
Yes.
along the way.
So let's talk about that mental shift. Like, just your most recent one of hiring employees. What is your go-to mindset shift during those times? Because I know like
So,
it's a lot.
yeah. So I think like one thing I just say all the time, and I think this is going to be my future book, is this is who I am now. And so once I kind of decide on that future, so now it's like, okay, I haven't even hit the million, but I'm like, we're heading for the 5 million.
Yes.
I'm just like, okay, so like that $5 million business, like that's who I am now today. And
Yes.
so I just have to like fully, like, even if it freaks me out, I have to figure out what decisions is $5 million Kelsey making and how can I start making those decisions today? Because making those decisions as her is what literally gets me there.
Yes.
So that's the biggest shift. And it's like, it's uncomfortable. It's scary. I cry a lot because it's like, change is not easy, and it's like
Right.
this almost like a death of who you currently are. It's like,
Yeah.
who am I becoming? Will like
Hi.
everybody like disappear from my life because I turned into this new person? And it's
Yeah.
just that evolution can be a lot, mindset wise.
Yeah.
So I
But that,
kind of just have like done it enough now that I'm like, oh, that's what that fear is. Like,
yeah.
let me feel it and then like move on
I'll
and
do
step
all the
into.
crying and then
Yes.
we'll say goodbye. We'll have a funeral and say goodbye.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, I've been going through a lot of those feelings too. And that's what
Yeah.
basically like my podcast is about, like just growing and trying out new things, but acting like that future CEO. So I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. So let's wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Talk about let's talk to the mom who is in newborn phase, who is just said goodbye to a teenager to go off to college. What can you say to them to help them get going and growing? Because that's what I'm all about, growing and going.
Yeah. So I cannot speak to the mom who just sent off a teenager. That is
That's
not
the
where I'm
other
at,
thing.
but is it?
I, I don't know either, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, to the mom who like loses I feel like in newborn phase, you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Like, I am in survival mode. Where am I supposed to go? And then the
Yeah.
same thing, like you're saying goodbye to your son or daughter,
Mhm.
and they're off to college and empty nest. So you're like, what do I do? So it's the
Yeah.
same feeling.
I would say the biggest thing, like at least from what I experienced with the newborn phase, is that at first I was trying to work and be a mom and like keep the house kind of clean. I don't even know, like whatever. And it's like you're like blurring all of the lines and all of your identities, right? And so I felt like I was never doing any one thing well. And that was really hard. I was just like, I'm like, giving 50% at everything and it just feels like I'm failing at everything.
Yeah.
And I was dropping all of the balls because I kept jumping from one to the other. And obviously I kept my baby alive, which is great. um so uh everything is good. But one of the biggest things is I early on created space for myself, which for me was my business. So I was like, I need to have dedicated time where like I am not on mom duty and I am like just dedicating this time to my business outside of naps, because even on naps, I mean, if that's all you have, amazing, try to make that work. And naps are unpredictable. You're still on, it's still like the baby is still your responsibility.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing was I got 2 days of daycare per week early on, I think at 8 weeks, because again, I had no idea what I'd need, but having those days where I could solely focus on me made me solely focus on my son on the other 5 days of the week. And having those dedicated times where I was like, I can go all in being a mom and I can go all in on being a business owner at these various times.
Mom
That
boss.
was the biggest, that was the biggest game changer for me.
Yes. I love it. And yes, creating time and space for being you, like, because yes, we turn on our mom mode and other wife mode, daughter mode, whatever mode we have to be on. But if we can have our me time, and that's what I promote a lot in the Mom Boss Motivation community. So I love that. And so where can people find you? How can we get in touch? What do you want to share with the community?
Yeah, so you can head to pinegateroad.com and we have a bunch of fun free resources. If you're looking to really scale your business and have some super profitable offerings, you can head there. And we have a 25 profitable offerings training that people love. It just gives you all of these ideas for how you can reach your first 6 figures with an offering that scales with the time that you have currently. So I know all of us moms need something that we can leverage with the time that we have. So I think that's like a really cool resource. And then you can find me at Kelsey Kerslake on Instagram. And I'm always there, always hanging out. And if you want to chat with me there, I'd love to talk to you.
Cool. Well, everyone go follow her on Instagram. Go to pinegate.com. I'll have the information in the show notes. And I thank you so, so much for being part of the Mom Boss Motivation Podcast. And you didn't tell them about your podcast. You have a podcast.
Oh,
Go listen to Kelsey's podcast, The Aligned Business, and subscribe to both. And you'll just get going and growing and keep on growing. So thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate your time, and thank you for doing during the nap time.
Yes.
And my baby's awake and making noise now. So
gotta go.
Good. But if there's any, I don't see anything on the Facebook for questions, but if there's any future questions, I will reach out to you and let you know. But I see things happening in the future. So
yes,
we will work together soon. So
amazing.
Let me hit the stop.